Hello and welcome back to the Shed Geek Podcast. Here's a message from our 2025 studio sponsor. Let's be real. Running a shed business today isn't just about building great sheds. The industry is changing fast. We're all feeling the squeeze, competing for fewer buyers while expectations keep climbing. And yet, I hear from many of you that you are still juggling spreadsheets, clunky software, or disconnected systems. You're spending more time managing chaos than actually growing your business. That's why I want to talk to you about our studio sponsor, ShedPro. If you're not already using them, I really think you should check them out. ShedPro combines your 3D configurator, point of sale, RTO contracts, inventory, deliveries, and dealer tools all in one platform. They even integrate cleanly into our Shed Geek marketing solutions. From website lead to final delivery, you can quote, contract, collect payment, and schedule delivery in one clean workflow. No more double entries, no more back and forth chaos. Quoting is faster, orders are cleaner. And instead of chasing down paperwork, you're actually running your business. And if you mention Shed Geek, you'll get 25% off all setup fees. Check it out at shedpro.co/ShedGeek. Thank you, ShedPro, for being our studio sponsor, and honestly, for building something that helps the industry.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. I'm excited about this podcast this morning because this is such a unique thought idea. It just really, to me, this just drools what today is in the digital platform world. Like, there's just no way to avoid it, and like we try to avoid that in our little neck of the woods in our industry sometimes. But I've got James here today. James, I've been thinking about this and looking at your website. I want to know more. I'm a student right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a student right now of what you do, and I'm trying to understand more. Tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I found myself in technology, but it never started here. I never thought I'd be here. It didn't come from family that would ever, I never would have thought I would be a tech nerd when I grew up, type of thing, because a few decades ago, I come from, my father built his own home. My grandfather never even graduated high school and, worked at a tire store. We come from simple means. We're simple guys, but we know how to build stuff. We're builders and inventors. Like, we build, we invent, we tinker, and so, my grandfather wanted me to be a painter when I, graduated high school, and that's what I did. I started painting companies and power washing companies and had crews, and I knew how to paint a house head to toe. I know how to power wash. I know how to stain decks. I know how, I was taught from my family how to do that. I could do it well. I could teach others to do it, and then I accidentally found myself as a business owner. Is that how it goes? Is that how it goes? You're like,
I'll tell you what.
I'm a business owner now.
If you could write the story, like, they say truth is stranger than fiction, and I truly believe it because, a blue collar guy here myself, same story. It's like me and you. The more I get to know you, it's like you're my long lost brother or something here. Neither parent graduated high school. Like, I was the first one to graduate high school, first one to go to even some form of college. And like now my kids have obviously, both graduated. They're both getting degrees, all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, grew up in a very blue collar world, where my parents taught me work hard for a living and you'll get ahead. And it was kind of like, man, with the age and the emergence of the dot-com boom in the 90s and then all that's come with the internet since then, it's changed my whole world because I found myself to be in this sales world, conversationalist, podcast. Like, you tell people you make, what do you do for a living? I do a podcast. People are like, you can do that? Like,
you can feed your family on a podcast?
Yeah, it's like, well, if you are creative, if you tap into the creativeness that the creator gave you, I always say all the time, in the beginning, God created. Like, we're made in his image. So I think we're made to be creative. So like, for a lot of business owners, they're like, I need, they're risk adverse. I need tried, true, I need all the ROI. I need all this stuff. And like, that doesn't really allow for a lot of room for creativity. like Maya Angelou said, the more creativity you use, the more of it you have. So like if you just keep finding new ways, and that's kind of what LiveSwitch is, I'm gonna guess that you somehow made the transition into that. So you tell the story, not me.
No, it's great. I love it. No, we're definitely cut from the same cloth. So, well, I was running my painting power washing companies with my crews, putting food on the table, and I would go to the bookkeeper, right? And this bookkeeper, and I'd hand them my stuff, and they would talk to me and speak English to me, and I would nod, and I'm like, I don't understand a word coming out of their mouth. And I was like, that's probably not good because you start, like I said, you start off being a builder and you find yourself you're accidentally a business owner. So I was like, all right, I think I probably need to go and learn business. And I wasn't going to learn it from my family. We had no business owners in my family. So I was like, well, back in the day when college was affordable, right? I went to a state school and I was like, I'm going to learn business. I'm here to learn business and numbers. Because I was afraid maybe somebody would kind of pull the wool under me, because if I didn't know the numbers well enough. So I started doing that while running the companies. And when I graduated, I connected with a guy who was running a landscaping company, and his same type of thing. Interested. The problem that we both had, which was not understanding the numbers, he created this like technical model where you could take an income statement and balance sheet, you could put it into the system, and this was again a couple decades ago before all this AI stuff. It would spit out a plain language report that any business owner could understand, and then the magic of it was also collecting private company data. And he was like, do you think we could sell this? And so I'm like, I can try. So I got off the ladder for a little bit and started trying to sell this software, right? Before software thing was really a thing, a big thing. And I started making sales. And we started an incubator. We were nobodies. And then it went over the years, it became Inc. 500, which means you're one of the fastest growing companies in America. And now it's a multi-billion with a B, a multi-billion-dollar company that we sold to KKR. And
That's
so
awesome.
that worked out all right. And from there, from there, it's like, well, let's get into nonprofits. So we have a few nonprofits. One of them is called Inmates to Entrepreneurs, where we put thousands and thousands of incarcerated men and women through our program, teach them business, and that turned into an ABC television show called Free Enterprise. Can't make this stuff up. Finished that season, won a bunch of awards. It's fantastic. You should watch it. My business partner is a star of that show. And then we decided, well, we kind of don't feel like hanging up our boots. Let's do another business. And we wanted to stay in tech. So instead of starting from scratch, we had a little more capital this time. So we're like, let's buy a company. So we scoured up for hundreds of companies. We found a company in British Columbia, Canada. That was founder-led, family-led. We wanted something but we figured we could go and help. So we bought them 5 years ago. And back to when someone speaks English, I don't know what they're saying. I start hanging out with the engineers because it's a tech company. I mean, they are definitely trying to speak English to me, and I'm definitely like, I'm a pretty smart, educated guy now. I do not understand. And they're talking to me about this technology called WebRTC. I didn't know what that was. Real-time communication. So I'm hanging out with engineers. The builders of tech companies are the coders, right? Just like when you're with your crews, they're the workers, right? So I wanted to be with the people. And again, it took me a while to learn what we were doing. But my goodness, once I started figuring the things out, I mean, we're powering the Super Bowl. Like if you go to an MLB ballpark for professional baseball and scan a QR code and they put you on the Jumbotron, that's our stuff. We do stuff with the government. We do stuff with NASA. We're doing stuff. I mean, sports entertainment. Like remember during COVID, the NBA had the bubble and had all we did that. We piped in for the All-Star games. We did it for WWE wrestling. I mean, I was behind the scenes for WWE wrestling,
That's
because we're helping
awesome.
them out. Like it was crazy, right? So here I am. Like, okay, how did I get here? I'm just a guy on a ladder painting homes, and now I'm with these smarty pants engineer guys. Well, I got a knock on the door from the chief of police in Washington, D.C., of all places, to reinvent our nation's 911 phone call, right? So when you place a 911 call an emergency, you're on your phone. And when you're in a compromised situation, it's hard to explain what's going on. I don't know. Like we just had Hurricane Helene here in Nashville, and it was a war zone in here. And I mean, we were doing river rescues, all kind of stuff. My buddy got cut out of the roof of his house with a hatchet hacksaw from someone kayaking over. Intense. Trying to explain where am I? Well, I don't even know how you get here because we're surrounded by the river. Like, good luck, but we were trying to save someone in the river. so we had to come up with a way. Now that most everybody listening, maybe not everyone listening, but most everyone listening has a smartphone in their pocket. And on your smartphone are these things, and you probably have 4 or 5 of them cameras, right? So the idea with the chief of police was, how do we tap in to those cameras with no app? Like, you can't stop and download something in the middle of an emergency. Like, oh,
Right.
I forgot my password. You're not doing that. So how do I get into those cameras and then transmit that live video to the police car, fire truck, or emergency medical so they can see what they're driving into? It's called situational awareness, right? So I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I had an idea. I was like, I got it. I think I got it.
Hello from the Shed Geek team. I'm Shannon Latham, host of the Shed Geek podcast. I would like to encourage all of our listeners to attend this year's Shed Sales Summit hosted by Making Sales Simple in Knoxville, Tennessee. Whether you sell directly or have a team of shed sales professionals, becoming a shed sales professional and increasing your education with the advice of proven industry leaders who are offering valuable advice is absolutely imperative to your growth and helps to take your team to the next level. From a marketing perspective, we know just how important it is to have shed sales professionals out there representing our products in the industry. I can't wait to be in Knoxville at this year's Shed Sales Summit. I hope to see you there.
So what I did, I sketched everything out, went to my computer scientist. I was like, you need to build this because I want to show it to the chief. So like, we build it. I show him a working model, which allows you basically, when you're on a 911 call, to receive a text message, because that's a different data channel. You can tap it, and then instantly we can, if you hit allow, we can get into your camera feed, and now you can just hold your camera up, and from the citizen, that video can be piped into the police car, so they know what they're driving into. And so I was like,
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then we got back into home services. I'll talk to you about that in a little bit, but you see the story kind of connecting of like, how the heck am I on the Shed Geek right now? Right?
Well, it's wild because I'm writing down all this stuff, the WebRTC, the real time communication, like even I think me and you talked on our first call, Hebrews 13:3, be with those in prison as though you're in prison yourself. I mean, that has been my calling, and it's something that I've not been able to do for quite some time because my attention span has been very much on this industry and things like that. So there's other opportunities that are starting to like pop up in my life, and I'm really trying to be like listening to God on these different things and like, okay, what do you want me to do, when, where, why, all that kind of thing. But I mean, we did some prison ministry for a time. I worked for a year and full time in faith-based drug and alcohol ministry because I recognized that most criminals are actually nonviolent, and like I think it just depends on if you believe in second chances and like rehabilitation over retribution, and things like that. So I definitely want to check out the show. I'm not familiar with it, but I want to know more about it, and I'm definitely going to watch it because it's just like that. Like that's the kind of TV that I would watch anyway.
Yeah.
Like I don't just really spend a whole lot of like just numbing hours of just TV time. I watch sports because I enjoy sports, but I'm not, it's not priority. But these kind of things are learning opportunities for me, and I feel like they're just chances to better the world. I know that sounds a bit naive, don't get me wrong, but I believe that completely. And I've never really been a lock them up, throw away the key kind of guy. I've always been like, hey, where's an opportunity here in this? I mean, some of the smartest people I know, best people I know. I mean, a lot of the listeners have heard the story. I had Dylan on the podcast a couple of years ago, a marketing partner. A lot of you guys know them, work with him daily. I mean, he's got that history. He's got that past. He literally is an inmate to entrepreneur, and because he was driven and he had a radical change in his life, right, with his salvation. So like that, it's like two different people, like literally born again, right? It's like two different people. He has his past, but he cannot run his past, So what he had to do was create his own future through creativity, and he's done. He's done well. He's done great. So,
yeah, we've seen it we've seen it with our own eyes. I mean, we hire people out of the program. We all need second chances. I mean, you're quoting the word, which one of my nonprofits I founded churches. So the thing that's coming to mind is like, when did I see you sick and heal you? When did I come and feed you? When you were hungry. When did you visit me in prison? And then he's like, well, what you did for the least of these, you did for me, right?
Yeah.
And the Bible talks about, hey, thieves, steal no longer. Go get a job so you have something to share. I mean, if you think about that for a minute, like, okay, stop stealing. Back to your nonviolence, right? Just stop stealing. Go get a job. Like, go work. There's Adam's curse. Like we've got to work in thorns and thistles. So we're working. Like even he's at work. Like you would think if you're resting, we'd like, don't you just want to rest? Aren't you tired? Like, but he's there and he says, work. Why? So you have something to share. And why share? Because he says it's better to give than receive. So what's really going to fill us up? I think we're all chasing stuff to make us feel great. But what we need to do is be generous. We need to share. We need second chances because we all need them. I need them, right? So anyway, I'll get off the soapbox here, but I mean, you get me going, Shannon. We can talk about this stuff all day long.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to share like one of my most recent keynote speeches that we did, where it talks about how much the Bible talks about giving and how much giving is mentioned in the Bible versus prayer, just things that we think of that are the staples of our foundation of our faith. Giving is actually in there. It was something like 8,300 and something times. Like, even the Lord gave his son, right? He gave his son so that we would be healed, by his stripes. So like, yeah, I just love everything about what you guys do, but I need to know more about LiveSwitch. I need to figure it out. I need to understand how it works. So walk me through, there's a couple different options, like where I look at like LiveSwitch Contact or LiveSwitch Concierge. Like you explained to me, like if you were I'm trying to think of the listener's mindset right now, if you will, James. And I'm not usually this disheveled after 300 episodes, but you've got my mind going 100 mile an hour with like your services and your products. So like help me walk through, if you're a business owner who builds sheds, and you've already talked about that. That's a huge thing in the industry. A lot of guys just wanted to build sheds. They didn't want to be business owners. They didn't want to learn about SEO, CRMs, websites. How does local SEO work versus, Google ads and meta ads? And, oh no, do I need to have automation funnels built out, and explaining to them how automation funnels is going to take a lot of pressure off of your salespeople. But how does what you're doing help the manufacturer or the salesperson?
Yeah. Let me tell some stories here and paint a picture.
Okay, go for it.
There's a great disruption going on, which was ushered in through COVID, right? When COVID came, we all hopped on this thing called Zoom. I think we're on it right now.
Yeah.
Right. So we got ushered into that quickly, very quickly. Organizations had to change how we met and didn't meet, how we stayed connected. So this video came in to our lives, and now we have, like I said, all these cameras on our phones. There's a time now to bring this in professionally that's practical and tactical. Okay, Zoom is great right now for us to record a podcast, for me to see you, for us to have a thing many, many miles apart. But it's not so great for third-party assistance. It's not so great if there's not another person on the other end, like if you're talking to yourself, right? But now there's these tools. We want to, like the chief of police, literally after I presented it, he looks over his glasses. He's like doing this over, James. He's like, why didn't we already have this? This seems so like logical to me. I'm like, yeah. Chief, here's the thing. We didn't have the infrastructure. Like, I think now they issue these cell phones to you when you're born, right?
Yeah.
So like we all have this infrastructure. We just haven't started to really use these cameras. We know from picking up the phone when it had a cord back in the day, and and then it went to cell phone, and now we hook it to our ear. We know how to text really well. Well, the next piece that we're missing is these cameras that are going to start. It's coming it's coming for everything. Everything. I mean, the first place some people may have already experienced it is when they get their car worked on. Right? Have you gone and got your car worked on? Maybe you haven't experienced this yet, but some of the dealerships are now recording all their work that they're doing. We're changing the air filter. We're filling up the tire. We just checked your oil. Why? Because when you give somebody your car and you're sitting in the waiting room and they come out with a bill, have you ever questioned, like, did they really do all that? Or are they just, I want proof of work.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see that. So you can't argue when you shine light on things, just like why this is so important for emergency response. We're not going to arm all of our teachers with AK-47s in our schools. I mean, we could, but it's not going to work out. So we want to shine light on the situation, right? When you can hold your camera and as a citizen, just show the video. Doesn't that really shine light on the darkness, right? So now these video pieces are going to shine light on whatever you do.
Oh no!
Sam, what's going on? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine, Lisa. I was just trying to get a screwdriver and all this other stuff fell down. I'm ready to go buy a shed so we can have some space in this garage again.
I agree. I keep looking at the shed Mr. Jenkins bought. Let's ask him where I got his.
Howdy, neighbor. We're wondering, how do you like your shed?
I love it. It's exactly what I needed, and I couldn't have asked for a better service.
And where did you get it?
I can't remember, but let me check. Something this nice will probably have the builder's name on it somewhere. No, I'm sorry. I can't find a name anywhere.
Well, we finally got a shed.
Yes, I just hope we're happy. The thing is a lot more shoddy than I expected, and I'm sure I told them I wanted a window, but they didn't have it in the paperwork, so I couldn't argue. Boy, is this a lousy shed. We haven't even had it 2 years, have we?
Barely. It was just a bad deal all the way around. Mr. Jenkins told me the other day that he likes his shed so much he wants to get a second one, but he still can't remember where he got it.
Your product is your best advertising. At Identigrow, we provide nameplates that ensure your quality products are never forgotten. Identify your products, grow your business. For more information, visit identigrow.com.
Right, let's get into manufacturing and let's get into building really quick, okay? So if you're manufacturing sheds, has your shed ever had an issue? Maybe the hinge didn't work, maybe a couple nails didn't. Did you ever have an issue after delivery? And usually when a customer has that, are they in a happy mode? No. If you're lucky, they're a little bit frustrated, right? Because they just spent a lot of money and you delivered it. And maybe something happened on the way over. It was looking perfect it would look great before you put it on the truck, then you put it on the delivery vehicle, and then all of a sudden, you probably want to know, where did it break down, right? So the NFL, you guys familiar with NFL? They got these things called the instant replay. Wouldn't you like an instant replay of what happened from manufacturing to delivery to on-site? Well, we have these things called cameras now, okay? The problem is that it was never easy. It's not easy. You got to download an app, or you got to go into your camera roll and scroll through all the photos of your family. Like, you don't want to have all your family photos and all of your pictures of all your sheds together. It doesn't really work, right? And you're not going to really use a FaceTime to like review something. It's not good for, same with Zoom. It's not tuned up for that. That tool is not tuned up, right? So what we've done is we've tuned everything up for third-party and remote assistance, as well as the nerdy talk is called async. No one knows what that means, right? I call it the video Dropbox. When my father was rebuilding he had an old Datsun 240 Nissan Z for any of the car owners, and he rebuilt the thing from a rust bucket, but he would have to drop it off on his way to work because he wanted to get it painted, and he left the key in the Dropbox, right? So we created this video Dropbox where you can put the video in there. So let's go back to the shed to delivery example, okay? So first thing you're going to do is have a QR code on the shed or in your facility, or a guy can just pick out of his pocket. And you're going to scan the QR code and take a video. Okay, hey, I'm doing my walk around, final inspection, everything looks great, got it. Then that video goes right to the cloud. Nothing is stored on the device of your staff or your customer. That's a liability. If your staff quits that day, out with the video. And you don't want your staff scrolling through everything, right? And some of the computer science behind it is, even in crappy internet situations, maybe if you deliver these sheds in the middle of nowhere, right? You can still scan the QR take the video. The nerdy stuff is it'll cache in a browser, and I can get even a 3G internet, and it'll upload the video, and it's SOC 2 certified. We had to get it for the government. I mean, it's safer than a phone call. So if you're worried about safety, it's actually safer than the phone call. So now I'm going to follow the journey of the shed. All right, let's just walk with the shed. So now we've taken a video of it pre-delivery. Now, what you're going to ask your driver to do is, hey, I need you to take a video upon delivery. So we have a QR code on the shed. Maybe it's on a hinge. Maybe it's on the inside of the door. You're putting the name of your brand, your phone number, and then take a video QR code. So now that delivery driver can scan the QR code and show he didn't screw anything up, right? And then they deliver it. And now when the customer sees a broken hinge or something, they scan the QR code, take a video. So you've got point-to-point video evidence to find out in your NFL instant replay, where did something go wrong? Did it happen on the truck delivery? Did it happen at the manufacturing? Did it somehow happen from the customer? So you see how stuff's starting to weave in, and I'm just getting started, right? So hopefully this example resonates. Maybe you tell me, Shannon, if it does or doesn't.
No, I like. I'm thinking of a million other things, like what's the journey look like of the build? If the customer has a QR access to the build, and maybe you don't want to provide that. Maybe as a manufacturer, you just don't want to show the actual work being done or something like that. But maybe it's not the literal hammering, or framing of the building as much as it is a process at 3 hours in, 9 hours in, oh, building's complete. Just kind of gives you an update. So it stops a lot of these calls that are like, hey, is my building done? Is it ready? Even though you've told them 4 weeks lead time, and you get a call a week later and they're like, hey, I'm just curious about my building. You'd be like, oh, actually, if you just scan this QR code, you can see that they're framing it up right now. Here's a picture of it in this place. Or they're starting on it next week or whatever it is. But there's a million things that come to mind here. And that is, podcasting. It's a perfect example. I follow a lot of podcast groups, and just identifying what we're on today. And this is 5 years in, 300 episodes in. Like, if you ask 5 different people what a podcast is, you get a different answer. What is it? Video? Is it audio only? Is it, was talk radio back in the day? Was that essentially a podcast? We added video to ours for the YouTube watchers, for those who just want to kind of understand more. I think it comes down to primary communication, and I'm going to liken this to my sales experience. This is why the digital storefront's so important, is because people buy from people that they trust, and there's a discrepancy there maybe when they can't see you. There's just something about visible that makes a difference. Even if I tell you, well, this shed today, James, is going to be $7,500. And if you just put, $500 down, your payment's going to be $274.76 or whatever for however many months. But when I write that down on paper, there's a visual cue for me to look at now as a customer. Instead of you just rattling those numbers off and me trying to remember all that stuff, there's something about the visual that changes things completely. And, what you're talking about with the police chief, you're talking about uniform presence. That does most of the job. Throwing, and a lock keeps an honest thief out, right? That's the old saying, right? If they want to get in, they're going to get in. But the lock just deters the honest thief to say, it's too much trouble. I don't want to do that. Uniform presence does a lot of that. Video does a lot of that. Just having, some people say, I don't care, going to die on this hill. So, I don't care about the consequences. But video does so much. And the one thing I've told salespeople, from my small little humble opinion, is man, can you imagine the customers getting to know you before they even show up? I mean, and there's so much more, James, that we can talk about that I haven't even jumped into. The fact that we have a distributor who's an advertiser here on the podcast with us that does all of the insignias on the machines. They've talked about putting QR codes. We own a company called Shed Hub that, they establish a Shed Hub ID. So it's basically every shed has an ID, which means you can track in the cloud, as you're talking, all of these other details. Before I go move the shed for a customer, is it actually a something that has a lien on it? Is it either through rent to own or through traditional finance. Oh, maybe I shouldn't move that building because turns out they're trying to get me to buy this building and it's not for sale because it's owned by another entity like an RTO provider or finance provider. Now it's stolen property. We've stopped that by addressing this QR code and not just the visual effect of it, but how can you tie in all of these other, so there's my mind's going 100 mile an hour, but
Oh yeah, no, I mean, these are the things that are real, right? So if you're
yeah.
in the sales process, imagine going from the phone call where you're doing the envelope, 7,500, whatever it's going to 4 or 5 figures to say, hey, since I got you, are you near the site where it's going to be constructed or where we're going to put it down? Can I send you a text really quick and you show me? So now they just tap the text, no download. You just send the text. If you can send a text, you can use our stuff. This stuff is, you can learn it in a minute. They tap it. Now they could walk out and show you where the build is, or they can show you the shed that needs to be moved. And it does 2 things. You get to see, it's all recorded, so you can also share it after the recording if you need to share it with anybody. Also, it's your NFL replay like we talked about earlier, but then it establishes that human connection trust. Mm-hmm. Second to being face-to-face with someone, shaking hands, being on a video call. People close a lot of business. We've got thousands and thousands of customers. I got all the data to back it up. Like, the difference between being on property and being virtually with video is almost negligible. And in some industries, being on video actually has a higher close rate. And people are like, how is that? How could a virtual video of a person have a higher close rate than me being on property? That doesn't make sense, right? Well, let's talk about it. Convenience and speed. Are you the only shed provider in the country? I'm probably not, right? And so what do normal customers do? They go to Google. They look at reviews. You're not the only one with a lot of high reviews. So if you don't fast enough, what are they going to do? They're going to call the next one on the list. What do they care, right? That they call the next one in. So when that phone rings, you better pick it up. Or when that quote comes in, you better respond quick because you're on the clock. It's just like, the NFL wide receivers are on the clock and Olympians are on the clock. You're on the clock. And you might not think you are, but look at what's happening. Look at the age of Amazon. Mm-hmm. People probably buy their sheds on Amazon, some of them, right? With next day delivery. We are impatient. We are impatient people. I don't like to stand in line for anything. For food, I've been ruined by Amazon. If you pay for Amazon Prime, which is probably a lot of the listeners, you're already in this. And so your customer is no different. This is where they're being conditioned. I even saw an article today. Amazon's bringing more overnight delivery locations to even small towns. Okay, so this is it's only going to get worse because we value an experience. If I'm about to pay you 4 or 5 figures for a shed, like connect with me. Show me. If you're going to come and construct it on my property, now I can have the Shannon project. And anytime I scan a QR code, take a video, it goes to the Shannon project. And Shannon, who's sitting at home, can watch the build from home or office in chronological order, right? And he's spending 4 or 5 figures. These are the kind of things we like to see. And the only difference is it's not been easy in the past. Now it's dead simple.
Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com.
James, there is definitely the possibility that things get criticized that aren't understood easily. I tend to find this is a conservative issue more than any other issue. Conservative. I just can't get that word out, can I? Conservatism. Bam! Look at me. Like it's just one of those things where the, this is the way it's always been done. Okay, it's hard to move into a different world. Some people embrace it wholeheartedly. The ones that do, you see them like they just jump into everything that's new, that's tech. I'm a little bit old fashioned, right? Like my wife, my son, new technology comes out, they're right on it, learning it, figuring it out. Even a new phone. I mean, they're excited about it. They go home and like the first thing they do, like I won't even look at the thing until the next day and be like, I got to figure this thing out all over again because it's a new interface and I got to do this. And like my mind is just kind of like, easy to criticize things. Why don't they just keep the button right there? Why doesn't it stay? Like I'm that old dad, that's like just grumpy and things like that. But I think we do. I think we criticize things we don't understand. So if it's not simple user interface, if it's not simple and easy to understand, there's just this. I laugh about this all the time. I joke about this all the time in the shed industry. I say you could tell someone, I have a new product, a new idea, a new vision, and people would say it'll never work. And then you're like, well, do you want to hear it? It's just this mentality that it'll never work first and then tell me what it is. So like, how simple is this? You talked about the text. I mean, I'm assuming that's the LiveSwitch contact service. Okay.
Yep.
And then what's the concierge? What's the difference?
Concierge is more of live. We call it wall to call. Like you can scan a QR code and instantly video connect.
Okay.
There's no, like you just scan it and it'll tell you where the person is. Oh, or what shed they're in front of. You could have a different QR code for every shed. Oh, you're standing in front of model 12345. In fact, this was the one purchased by Johnny Jones. Oh, are you Johnny? Yeah. So we're trying to make it easier than a phone call. Think of all the places that can be used, right? And it gets used a lot in property management. We have a ton of self-storage customers here, but that may not be something. We have a platform, right? We're like a buffet. You're not going to eat everything at the buffet unless you're one of those kinds. But you're going to look at the buffet and find the thing that makes the most sense for you. So on the platform, what typically gets used a lot are this SMS to connect. That's our most popular. You send a text, tap it, connect. Like everybody uses that. Every industry uses that. The QR code that has the video Dropbox, that's the second most popular. And then the other things that we have, like instant recording, tap on a tablet kiosk to connect, tap a button on your website to video connect. What we're trying to do is wherever your customer is, I don't care if they're on your website, if they're standing in front of the shed, if they're in their car, I want to meet them where they're at, right? I want to human connect with people wherever they're at, and I want to so we call it race to the face. Okay, the faster I can get my face in front of you, the faster I can do business with you. When you go to video for that, you can take the situation down notches, and it changes everything. Because people have a lot of keyboard courage, they even get a lot of voice courage, but for you to yell at me when you're looking at me.
Absolutely. It changes a lot of everything. That's why, the uniform presence I talked about earlier, I wrote down the word accountability. It just provides some accountability because you see the memes on Facebook and social media and things like that that says, man, I'm glad I grew up in the last generation where everything wasn't recorded. Well, take a look at the opposite side of that coin flip there and say, well, why? It's like, because I'd be held accountable, or there'd be a lot of like embarrassing footage of me doing some stupid stuff whenever I was a kid. Well, it just kind of like neutralizes that platform, right? Like, if somebody's seeing you, I like your term keyboard courage and even voice courage, sometimes by phone. Man, I would love to see a demo of something like this. I don't know where I go to see this or where others go to see this. I'd like to find out more information, just to kind of understand how it, from a salesperson's perspective, I don't feel like we've even really tapped into using video chat enough for sales, because people, you said it earlier. I mean, I'm going to get into this whole soapbox here now, right? Please forgive me. I'll get into this whole soapbox about, self checkouts and things like this. Like, look, like I try not to argue with people too much, James, if I can help it. But I love self checkout. I love self checkout, not because I believe it's taking jobs. I take a look at somebody like Walmart, and I say they're the largest employer in America. How on earth are they the ones that should be accused of costing jobs? Like, things change over time. Like, we don't pump, someone doesn't pump our gas anymore. Like, we pump our gas. Like, we never stop saying like, oh no, it's taking jobs, because I have to pump the gas. Like, I return my own shopping cart. Somebody doesn't like walk out most of the time unless you're elderly anymore and like help you with your groceries to the car. Like, I remember my first job was as a grocer. Like, that's all I did was like, I took groceries to people's car constantly because it's a service that you offered. It wasn't removing people's jobs. So we love self checkout. We love, click and pay. No, that doesn't mean that we don't sometimes want to spend some time in the store shopping too. We're in this hybrid model where it's the best of both worlds today, and that's why the digital storefront in the shed industry is necessary, and the brick and mortar location is still very necessary. Like, I don't think that you need to be all of one and none of the other. I think that you just have to find a way to navigate through this day and age, which is a complicated retail market where you have to both embrace what was and what will be. And this is part of what will be, because it's making it, all you're doing is increasing the efficiency of the person's time in their day by being able to look on this and see this. Yeah, I'm soapboxing now. So
it's already happening. This isn't something that is some idea. We have thousands and thousands of users all over the world in all kinds of industries using this. Once you get it in the hands, once you service a customer in a way that, wow, once you protect your backside, like, oh, it left the manufacturing facility perfect. It was a delivery guy. Or, once you're able to save a trip out, like, oh, they just couldn't figure out the latch. Like, I can just guide you through it, right? Like, it's little bits and pieces like that where you didn't have to leave the dinner table with your family at 7:00 and somebody was able to still solve the problem. I remember my big aha moment was when I was talking to this guy who takes care of the NFL team, the Tennessee Titans. 20 years in the FBI. He's been around the block a bit, and he protects the stadium and the players. And the stadium in Nashville is huge. So I'm talking to him. His name's CT, and I'm showing him everything. And he's like, James, I love this for emergency response. But he's like, I got the stupidest question. I'm like, what is it? He's like, sometimes the trash cans fall over on the other side of the arena where my other guy is, and I have to hop in my little golf cart and drive all the way there. He's like, can I just send him a text and he could just show me so I don't have to hop in my golf cart anymore? And I'm like, yeah, you could. And that's when I was like, oh, this reminds me like the Nextel walkie-talkie or a CB radio that I used to have. Like, I get it now. We were going from ears to eyes. Like, that was the big aha. And so once you start having that into whatever it's sales or operations or post-delivery, think customer testimonials, before and afters, think training, think best of breed, think of how we construct something, think one-offs. Like, once you have a video record of everything, you just have so much. Imagine taking the NFL instant replay away from the NFL. People would go crazy.
Yeah.
Right? It's that kind of thing. Once she gets into the mix and just land, and it'll expand. It's what we've seen every time. You just find a couple like, oh yeah, that's where it goes. And then it expands across the business because your wheels just really start to turn in crazy. Like, I've had people come in, oh yeah, I start using this for recruiting. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, we'll just, if someone's interested, I'll ask them 3 questions and send them a video Dropbox link, and they have to answer them, and I'll look at it and I can decide if they should be coming in for an interview or not. I'd rather just save my hour-long interview if the person can't even answer 3 simple questions and I get to see them.
Unlock the power of productivity with Cardinal Leasing. Are you looking to elevate your business operations with top-tier equipment? Look no further than Cardinal Leasing. We offer a wide range of reliable and high-quality equipment tailored to meet your unique needs. Flexible leasing options. Whether you need short-term rentals or long-term solutions, our customizable leasing plans are designed to provide maximum flexibility and affordability. Conventional financing available. Cardinal Leasing also offers great conventional finance options for those of you that prefer that over-lease purchase options. Expert support. Our team of experienced professionals is here to guide you every step of the way, ensuring a seamless leasing experience. Boost efficiency. With our top-of-the-line equipment, you can enhance productivity, reduce downtime, and achieve your business goals faster. Why choose Cardinal Leasing? Competitive rates, exceptional customer service, hassle-free process, quick and easy approvals. Don't let outdated equipment hold you back. Partner with Cardinal Leasing today and take your business to the next level. Contact us now. Visit our website at equipment.cardinalleasing.us or call us at 618-803-4086 to get started.
So all these crazy use cases and things that happen, but saving that extra plane flight out or that trip in the truck, that's really where the rubber starts to meet the road, because this stuff's really inexpensive. This is not expensive stuff either. So,
well, it works for all applications. I mean, pole barn, post frame, sheds. There's a lot of people in our world that sell furniture, outdoor furniture, play sets, pergolas, gazebos. You name it. Like, they're just the list goes on and on. Animal shelters. A lot of dog kennels, a lot of horse run-ins, and livestock shelters and things like that. So even if that's not their primary business, and storage, typical storage, backyard storage, shed storage there's all these other applications in which it could work. But I mean, there's a reason that me and you are here. Like, I could go to an audio only podcast, and that's what we did starting out. And there's nothing wrong with that. Actually, audio only podcast saves me a significant amount of time, because the video is more complex, just in the sense that you have to upload it, the edit, and things like that. But the value that it offers is so much more valuable. Sometimes people just want to see you. They just want to see who they're talking to. They even want to know that you're a real person. In today's day and age, with a lot of the AI generated stuff that we see, they just, that's why Google bought, was it Reddit or whatever? You know what I mean? Was just like, because the emergence of AI just had so much, literally, authentic or artificial intelligence, that they just wanted to hear from a real person when you need to change a timing belt on a 92 Chevy.
That's right.
Like, AI can get you this really cool stuff, but there's just some things that human interaction is necessary for, which is why I love that we still have regular checkouts. Like, being a fan of the self checkout when I'm in a hurry is great, because I got to go and I'll be quicker. But when we're in a more leisurely atmosphere, and me and my wife aren't in a hurry, and we just want to go up and talk to the cashier and have that human interaction, there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. It's but you're in control. The whole point is that, like, you're in the driver's seat whenever you're able to have more information.
And as the price tag goes up, the level of expected customer service goes up as well, right? Like, when you're getting ready to spend 4 or 5 figures or more on something, your expectations rise up a bit more. So if your average product size is 4 figures and up, those are the kind of things that you can do that makes sense. And when you can see what the customer sees, like, let's say you don't ship things fully assembled and the customer has to do final assembly. And if you're most guys like me, like, oh, we're gonna put the directions down for a second. I got this. All right. And then we get in a little bind, and we get in such a bind, we're like, oh, dang it. So we start going to YouTube, or we actually pick up the instructions. Right. And so then if your person back in your office can now see what they see, like, no, show me. It could be a part was missing. Could be a problem on your end. Oh, I need to ship you out this part. So sorry, it didn't come with the kit. Or actually, it looks like you got the wrong bar up. Let's take that one off. And these people be educated, and the level of that is next level for someone who you just dropped off something that they've got to do the final construction on, or a callback, preventing those callbacks. It's already expensive enough to have somebody go out there to deliver and to install. Now, callbacks are usually net $0. People don't pay for callbacks. But you're paying for the callback. You're paying for the gas. You're paying for the hourly wage person. And all you're trying to do is get a satisfied customer. If you could prevent that from at least looking at it first, also, it prevents, oh crap, I forgot to bring this tool, right? Like,
yeah.
These are wasted time. So seeing what someone else sees, or even when you have your team on property and maybe they're more junior, I need to talk to more senior, the owner, or hey, we got an issue here. right? When you can see it as the owner or as more of a senior person, you can have your eyes on more projects and be in more places at once, you know? And in addition to that, you talked about AI. As AI, we like to view it as something that, as a co-pilot, as something that empowers. I always get the vision of Iron Man with Jarvis, you know, he's an iron suit. That's good AI, right? So things like we're adding is like translations. So when you're speaking to someone who's English as a second language, think of the Ninja movie where it's putting up that. Think of it. We have a laser guidance system where you can put a laser on the live video to guide someone. You know, think about GPS measurement tools like on video. All these things that come alongside that are AI driven. Still, we're having the human experience. I'm still, you know, the guy in the Iron Man suit, but now I've got Jarvis beside me, helping me to serve and giving me that next level of I don't know, protection.
So is this 100% like phone generated? You
No,
know, smart. Okay, so there's other tools.
you
Tell
can
me.
do it on. We have no app. We're appless, right? So I don't care if you're on a PC, a Mac, a tablet, a phone, what brand phone, how old phone, doesn't matter. If you got a camera and a browser, which most every device does, you're good to go.
Okay.
And so we're off to the races. Because I got guys that'll be back working from a computer and then sending the text to a text there. You know, I got others that'll just send a link to a tablet, or someone will scan it with their iPad on the QR code. So it doesn't matter. I would say that the phone and the computer are the most popular.
You talked about being in the home service field. Tell me a little bit about that, because like that's you know, like I work with a couple other companies in that home service field in the tech world, and that's really a market that obviously people are trying to get into, because business is business, but our daily lives consist of all the products that we buy in business, for a purpose of trying to, like, you know, enjoy our home life or make it better or whatever. So how does this affect like homeowners?
So we are one of very few companies in the world that do live video. And so we're powering, like we're even under the hood of Service Titan, if you've heard of them. We're under the hood of Jobber. Even the largest companies struggle with live video. So we're able to empower those folks. When we have plenty of electricians and plumbers and restoration companies, like ServPro is our customer, and One Tom Plumber and College Hunks Hauling Junk, and all those are our customers. So all they are doing, like the homeowner, all they're doing is tapping a text or tapping a link. That's it. Like, again, they're not having to go into any app. It just launches and boom, they're connected. Same with our home service guys. They're literally just putting in a phone number or sending a link, boom, and they're on. And it's tuned up for them. So because it's third-party assistance, the homeowner, it's actually the reverse of a FaceTime call for them. So they see themselves large and they see the service person or salesperson small. And that service person even has a virtual background behind them. Maybe they're working in their truck, or they're in a call center, or they're in the office. Makes them look very professional because they'll have their branding. And then the homeowner can just hit a flip camera button. And if you're like you and I, Shannon, we have these big glasses on, right? If you were trying to look through a FaceTime call, it's the size of a postage stamp. I'm going to fall down the stairs, you know? But
Yeah,
now we've made
yeah.
it to where you're looking through your phone and it's large. And it's little things like that. Like even when you flip the camera, you can hit a button and it turns on your flashlight. Like I got customers that'll have to go to the basement to show the water heater to the plumber, or the breaker box to the electrician, right? So we're able to it's just thoughtfully. This is the kind of stuff you're not going to find in other platforms because it wasn't made for that, right?
Hmm.
So we use the right tools for the right job. You know, I mean, I can probably hammer a nail in with the end of a screwdriver, but my hammer works better.
Yeah,
And that's
no,
what's
I get it. Yeah, I'm thinking about like the service after the sale, the postscript automations and things like that we're doing right now, that we're even trying to show that can be beneficial if you're a manufacturer who maybe you do a finance or a rent own payment. Like, you know, once a customer gets out there and then they're like, oh, I don't remember who I call, who I talked to, or whatever. We're trying to increase that level of communication. We're trying to I mean, there's some setbacks along the way, because when you're working on your business while working in your business, those are very hard things to do. So like you spend so much time, like a carpenter never finishes work at home, right? Because he's finishing it for everyone else. You know, if you're a mechanic, you never quite take care of your car like you take care of others, and it's the same way whenever you're in any kind of other services. You're working in your business, so you don't have a whole lot of time to work on your business.
Hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime.
And I think there's a lot of manufacturers that can identify with what I'm saying there, because they're doing a lot of this, and you're the chief everything. You know, sometimes in the smaller operations, you're the chief marketing, the chief sales, you're the CEO, CFO, you're the, chief trash taker outer. I mean, like, you got to do a lot of it. So time savings is very important, but it's understanding how to use the tools. I think that's been my biggest challenge, is like what we've had to do is like, and you talked about your aha moment. I like to say my watershed moment and things like marketing was whenever we gave a guy a quote. We were a little concerned because the quote that he wanted was very rudimentary. It was just very simple. It was very blasé, and we were like, man, we do high-end work, and we're a little bit concerned that like this simple website may reflect on our inability to do some of the more fun things or bigger or better things that, and he said at the end of the phone call, we get through the whole phone call, but at the end of the call, he said, oh, by the way, I know it's really important for those websites to show up first on Google. So for the same price that you're quoting me on the website, can we ensure that I'm number one on Google anytime someone searches? And I was like, boom, watershed moment. We have to educate people to sell to people. And I think, that's kind of the approach I took with sheds, and you got to be careful not to go too deep, right? You got to be careful that, you don't offer the kitchen sink when all they're asking for is something very smaller, like you almost got to lead the horse to water. So how do you guys navigate that with video?
Yeah, we crawl, we walk, then we run, right? Like as we talked, like, oh, look at this whole platform. Like, nope, we're going to start right here. This is it. We're going to start with one or two people on your team, and we're going to start with one clear value that you can add. So we try to keep it, we almost as my sales team, I was like, hey, just keep it simple. Like just, keep it to one piece, because we're going through change management as well. So we make that first change very simple. Like they can learn it in 2 minutes. You can start using it the same day, time to value. Like we're not teaching you a new CRM. We're not teaching you a new, AutoCAD or some like huge program. We're teaching you this one thing. And there's enough value in that one thing that, our stuff is so affordable. So like that is how we land it. Then they get curious. They start using it every day. I have people that their titles even change at work. Like they go from estimator to virtual estimator, or on-site follow-up project manager to virtual project manager. And because one, they're very good with people. So you want to also start with a person that not everyone likes to be on video sometimes, right? That's one of our big challenges. Who is your best at customer service or sales and is willing to get on video? Because now I can put that person as my Walmart greeter, right? I want my Walmart greeter. I want the first interaction you have with my business to be this person who actually likes people, who connects with them. And otherwise, like if I got one estimator over here or one deliverer over there, one project manager over there, like they can only service so many. So that's why you start to find some of your best people and centralize them. Like I need you to touch as many people in a day as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of start there. and then we expand. And as they see it, what they're doing is everything they do is getting recorded, right? So now you got best in practice, right? And so if your salespeople are selling world peace or underselling or not doing the right thing, and maybe you as an owner are the best salesperson, but you want to start making yourself redundant so you can let your business roll and you can, work on some other things. This is how you start to replicate yourself through all of these. You can mark them all, training, and like, hey, I need you to, this is our best in class. Or if there's a certain thing that happens sometimes, like, ooh, we better keep that one documented in case we see this again. Right.
Well, we started adding like video as a primary thing that people get to experience whenever they fill out a lead form, perhaps for like even a 3D configurator. Because like, how much more personal is the message from the actual owner that today you have one of two people. You have people that just completely embrace it and they're like, yeah, I'll fill out all my information and then I'll wait for the response. And then you have some people who just kind of want to eavesdrop, right? It doesn't matter because Facebook, Google, DuckDuckGo, all of them they're all collecting this digital data anyway. Like they know way more about us than we realize that they know anyway, because they're following around the IP address anyway through, through all these different social media and like, search engines anyway. So like nothing that you do is hidden in that world anyway. And that's what helps create good marketing campaigns, lookalike campaigns and things like that. Where I'm trying to go is like, I wrote down people don't shop like us. We're Kendrick Lamar in this now to go off of your NFL like experience there, they not like us. Well, they don't shop like us, like that's the trap we fall into a lot of times. It's like, that's not the way I shop. And it's like, right. But there's a whole generation that is choosing to shop different. There's that the retail experience is different for them than what it was for us back in the day whenever we went to the store with our parents. Everybody got in the station wagon and you went to town, you was there all day or whatever it was. It's just not that way now. TikTok's being used as a major search engine, Instagram being used in the inner cities as a search engine, as opposed to, you don't ask your friends anymore, where's a good place to eat? You get on Instagram and you look.
That's right.
But yeah, it's just people don't realize that there's a whole bunch of people that choose not to shop like us, and the younger generation embraces these things. My son will completely geek out over what you guys are doing, because he's going to recognize how much easier it is for him. It's second nature at this point now for him to just embrace something like this.
That's right. And you start putting these platforms and tools in the hands of folks. They start coming up with very unique ways to do things. Like one of our customers happens to be a doctor. And what he does is this other service. It's kind of like a concierge service where he'll send you a link and you just tap it and you will, take a video of what's going on with you. And it'll be a 2-minute video. And then it gets sent to the doctor. The doctor can watch it at 2x speed. So it's even faster than the thing. And then he will turn around and record a video of himself. And he'll do this at different times of day. And then he'll record a video response and he'll send the video response back. Right. And he charges for that service, and people find it convenient. But think about this in your own retail business too. Could you imagine if you got a recorded video from the owner after maybe a larger sale?
Yeah.
That maybe you wouldn't have you just hit record on the video, right, from your computer or your phone. Say, hey, Shannon, thank you so much for the shed you purchased from us today. I know you went with one of these models that we just love. Our teams, I've heard good things are taking care of you. I wanted you to know as an owner, if you ever need anything, we're here to service you and your team or you and your family. Thank you. Hit record, stop record, grab the link, text it or email it to the person.
And it's really, the thing is, it's simple. You could spend a half a day, doing that to everything that you sold last week, or even if that, or maybe you can even automate the process by doing a one-time if you don't make it as personal. Hey, James, like if you just say, hey, thank you for purchasing our, side lofted barn, and then boom, all the side lofteds, get that same message. It's still that personal touch, that personal message. It's like getting the emails of happy birthdays, right? You know what I mean? Like the happy birthday emails I get from all of my previous salespeople, that I bought something from. It's just the idea that even if it's automated, that they took the time to think about it to do it. Even if they took the time to automate it, they still did something to try and create some stickiness for me as a customer. And there's just a lot of value. We, what I was saying was with that 3D configurator, we encouraged our owners, like, You go to get their name, phone number, zip code, and address. Sometimes people just don't want to put that in, right? But when you have a message there from the customer that says, "Hey, we just want to make sure to get this information to make sure we can service you. Make sure you're in our service area. We don't waste your time or ours. We don't want to get your information because we want to sell it." Google and all the rest of them are using that for their advantage, right? We just need your information because we want to follow up with you, whether you buy, whether you don't. We want to offer you a discount in the future or something like that. And the bird gets the worm, right?
And
So
speaking of Google, things have changed. Things are always changing with Google. So these recorded videos, photos you're taking, interactions, Google is scraping your websites, scraping your Google store. And if you have stock photos, or if you don't have any videos or photos that are real, you get downranked. If you have
absolutely.
real videos, real photos all over your website and your Google business profile, you organically get put up. Google knows
Lends
higher
credibility.
quality. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Google sees that and they surface it. So you can take a customer testimonial, stand in front of their new shed delivery. I love check me out. Do you know how far that goes compared to keyboard 3 sentences and a 5-star review even? You take that video and you put it in your Google business profile and on your website and on your socials, that actually the impact of that is 10x on it. And I know you have that marketing background, Shannon, so you know what I'm talking about.
No, absolutely. We encourage more video all the time. We could keep our video production team constantly going, and they do. They go on a lot of different trips. They just came back from North Carolina on a big trip. But video. I even called Nick and I was like, you busy? And he's like, yeah, I'm in the middle of a shoot. Like, well, he should be. He's a video guy, right? That's what he does. It's like, man, I was thinking about having you on this podcast. I thought you would really enjoy the video aspect of this. Just because he's a genius at what he does and video production and things like that. And I was like, man, you'd enjoy this and how this is relatable. The live video. We're up against an hour. I'm curious, who's James outside of everything? Just a 2-minute spiel on who James is. I believe people buy from people that they trust, and if you're trying to showcase the value of something you are here today, how do I build trust in 2 minutes? Go, James.
Okay. So I'm definitely just an everyday guy, like everyone else listening. I have a family of 4 kids. We have 2 biological children, 2 adopted children. We're a mixed race family. We believe in adoption. My wife grew up in the Philippines and she built homes with her father. So she grew up being homeschooled. So we homeschool our kids. And her one dream was to adopt children. She's been saving since she's a little girl. She's way cooler than me. And so I knew that getting into the deal. We've been married over 20 years now, doing well. My nonprofit I started with churches. So I grew up atheist and converted after a bunch of my friends died in college. And so I know what it is to be with God's not real. And then I read the entire Bible for myself and rewrote the whole New Testament by hand. And I felt called to start churches. And the church we just started last week is I sing in hospice. So I was in hospice rooms. We started a church in a hospice. We just launched it last week, and I lead all the singing there. So I love singing to folks on their last day. I find it to be, I've been around a lot of death in my life. So I spend a lot of time there. And then I come from blue collar family. As we've heard, I ran businesses, but I'm also come from inventors and builders. So, inventing the product that we talked about today. I'm a proud papa, seeing thousands and thousands of happy customers. And, I've got more and more staff we're building. So I really love second chance as well. Like we talked about, people we're hiring. So yeah, I've got a lot of these values, and I try to remain judgment free as far as possible, and always assume someone's innocence before their guilt, and consider others better than myself. And I like to give more than I take, whatever industry we're in. So I don't just come and squeeze dollars out of it. I really try to come and educate. I'm an educator. I used to teach karate to Duke University College.
Nice.
So I was a secondary black belt. So I'm an instructor, teacher, all that stuff. So
I stopped by Duke University when we were out there. Last time we were out there, I just wanted to tour the campus and see UNC and Duke, and so I drove around both campuses while I was down there in the area, and we didn't get a chance to make Biltmore. It's just been too crazy, and then of course the flood and Helene came through, and our buddy Sam's been doing a lot of efforts over there, as I was telling you about. 600 sheds or so donated in that area. It was hit really hard, obviously. You play guitar, I'm assuming. I see the guitar
Oh
in the
yeah,
back.
yep. That's what I was singing at hospice. And my
Nice.
daughter and I, we're big singers, and we play guitar. I have a singing family, so
Dude,
yes.
I love it. I love your spirit. I love everything about you from the moment we first connected and started talking. Um, any questions for me? Like, I always try to open up the mic because I try to spend some time, and I feel like an hour is hardly time to do justice. I really want to showcase your product in a way that we can show it, so that people, understand it easily. Maybe we need to just do video of some demo or something sometime, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. But any questions that you have for me before we go?
I don't want anyone, who's listening to this to, think this is all sunshine and rainbows, right? Because we're not solving world peace or curing cancer over here. I wish we were. But from what you've heard today, where are your biggest skepticisms of everything you've heard, and where would you challenge what you've heard today, and what do you think the listeners are thinking after hearing us go for an hour? You've been in the industry for a long time, and I love straight shooting and raw, and I really don't want to come up here, and I hope people's wheels are spinning. That's what I hope.
First of all, I'm a firm believer in the digital world after not growing up in it, not even having a computer until I was 30, James. And then like starting to go down this avenue. I mean, starting a podcast alone was, it was a big challenge, but it was, my willingness to communicate and want to talk with people and solve problems through communication, right? And nonviolence. I'm a big fan of Martin Luther King and all that he preached on in terms of nonviolence. I love those ideas. Now I know that they're sometimes, I won't get into the political nature of that, but our industry is a bit, if they'll forgive me for saying this, we are always behind. We're always 10, 15 years behind. And like, you don't get first movers advantage whenever you constantly, like, there's a lot of intelligence in waiting and seeing things being proven and things like that. But I think sometimes you can get caught in that. You know, I'm losing my mind here this morning, James. I'm struggling to think of even the things I want to say. When you procrastinate, you can. I want to wait and see proof. I want to wait and see, and then I'll be a believer, right? And so, like, I'm much more inclined at as I get older, I'm probably doing different than what, like, my parents' generation did. They became more skeptical. I become a little bit more open to the ideas and things. Like, so I love transparency. I think I told you before we got on the call, I was like, if you got any questions, just ask them on the podcast, because I don't care if it's uncomfortable. And you said the same. I think our industry just struggles to embrace things. I think so like a new technology like this, if I were going to challenge it, I would be like, do people understand it clearly? Do they understand what it does clearly? And do they understand how it's going to help them? And do they have a phone number they can call to get a hold of somebody who can answer those questions? Because that's going to solve most of your problems. Is the auto-generated stuff that even we do is excellent until it doesn't work. Sometimes people just need to talk to somebody and get a problem solved. And we're trying, and that means man hours and manpower and things like that. So it cuts down on a lot of the automation. So I have like, for me, I don't have any doubts or anything to really challenge. I embrace what you're doing. I feel like I get it. For having a little bit of that marketing perspective allows me to see the value in this quickly. But are people going to embrace it? That's the question I've got.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, you're not guinea pigs, right? And I've
Yeah.
got all the industries that we're in. I mean, we're talking moving boxes, talking about plumbers, talking about electricians. These are my people.
Tradespeople,
I have
yeah.
thousands and thousands of them, so the beauty that I have found is a couple things. One, they do get mistaken for the knuckle draggers and the non-tech. And I'm like, no, your stuff's just too complicated. People don't want to use your over-engineered nonsense. They want a one-button solution. And so when they find that, they tend to stick. And when it sticks, because they're slow to change, they're slow to get rid of things too, right? But also, not just so get rid of things, when they do adopt something, they're serious. You've
Yeah.
got a winner. Like they don't mess around. They're a no nonsense crew. They're not just trying something for trying's sake. They want tools that are fit for purpose, and they want to use stuff that works because they ain't got time to waste. So that's what I love about these industries where everyone's like, oh, they're slow, they're behind construction. I'm like, nah, they're not behind. Your product just isn't compelling enough, or when they used
Yeah.
it, they tried it, they didn't like it, So
It
I
has
like
to
to
be
keep things
simple.
raw.
It
Yeah.
has to be easily understood. It has to be simple. I love your the one touch comment, because it's like, and the no nonsense is absolutely right. But you're also right in that if they're slow to adapt, man, they're slow to leave too.
Yeah.
Like they
I
will
remember
embrace it
when
completely.
in my painting company, I lived on a ladder. I remember when the paint sprayers first came out. And everybody was skeptical, about them. Like, are they going to function? Can they handle full homes? Can they handle years on the job? It was a new technology for us. It was a new tool. Well, now they got them as backpacks, and you can just fire away, put the paint in the backpack. We had ours
Yeah.
where you had to put it on the ground, but were mistakes made? Oh yeah. Did we hit the roof when we shouldn't have had a shield up? Oh yeah, we made. But once we got her down, we didn't go back to rolling and brushing siding anymore. We did
Yeah.
all the siding there. So as it changes, as it adopts, you try it. I mean, my power washing company now, they got these soft washers. Oh my goodness. Like, I would have been a pig in slop nowadays with the
Yeah.
tools that they got, so, it takes time, but having come off a ladder, I just kind of know what we like, and so I've got to keep
I,
educating my engineers
I
about that.
I love it, man. How do people get a hold of you? Obviously, we're going to put a link to the website and the newsletter. If you guys aren't signed up on the newsletter, go to the website and sign up, or just send me an email at info@shedgeek.com. We'll get you signed up. But how do people find out more about you?
Two ways. If you're on LinkedIn, just look up James Hatfield and you'll find me. Reach out. I'll connect with you and we can talk. Another very easy way is to go to our website, LiveSwitch, LiveSwitch.com, liveswitch.com, and click on demo and just ask for James. Like, I won't farm you out to anybody else. If you're listening to the Shed Geek, I will personally take care of you. So I just say, I want to talk to James. And so that's an easy way to get to me.
Perfect. Well, James, I appreciate you being on. I feel like we've covered a lot. Maybe we can do a follow-up. Anything else that you just want to share before we go?
No, just thank you. Anyone listening, you're already 2 steps ahead of the game. Taking time to educate yourself and listening. We love partnering with folks that like Shannon that are just putting good work out there, because good work from bad work. And so, thank you for allowing me to be on the podcast today, Shannon. I really appreciate it. I was grateful.
Hey, man, we love it. I love your product, and I hope people come run and embrace it, because it is the future. Like, that is the reality. Like, it is the future, whether we choose to shop that way or not. It is the way that shoppers and retail shoppers are choosing. And if we can make that process easier for them, then we're just all the better for it. So thank you guys for what you do. And it's definitely been a pleasure getting to know you.
Back at you.
Thanks again, ShedPro, for being the Shed Geeks studio sponsor for 2025. If you need any more information about ShedPro or about Shed Geek, just reach out. You can reach us by email at info@shedgeek.com, or just go to our website, www.shedgeek.com, and submit a form with your information, and we'll be in contact right away. Thank you again for listening, as always, to today's episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Thank you, and have a blessed day.